We like to think that we live in a nice, safe neighborhood. The truth is that a burglary occurs every 13 seconds, and homes without a security system have a 300% greater chance of getting broken into. How many homes in your neighborhood were robbed yesterday? You need to start protecting your home and family today. Call now to get state-of-the-art protection. To keep your family and property safe, call the number on your screen now. Representatives are standing by to assist you.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casinos now, your favorite sports book available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, in this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report, we have 7 states releasing their February sports betting numbers. Actually, one milestone for a state as well. We have launches both retail and online. We have a bunch of deals to talk about, lots of legislation as usual. And one big incident that happened in Tennessee over the past weekend with regards to one of the sportsbook licenses down there.
Yep.
Let's start with the revenue handle and revenue numbers for February. Like I said, we had 7 states reporting handle and revenue. 7 states reporting handle and revenue. 6 states, really just one state not reporting any handle because it doesn't. That's New York. They never report handle. They do revenue only. Start off with New Jersey's February numbers: $742.9 million in handle. 92.7% of that total handle was online. They had $689 million as an online handle for the month. Gross revenue was $46.2 million. That's an increase of 171% year over year from February 2020.
I'm reading a lot of articles saying, that the numbers for New Jersey were flat. I guess everyone's expecting a big bump from the Super Bowl, and I guess they really didn't get it.
Well, the one thing I always notice, the Super Bowl bump happens in January.
Yeah, no, a lot of betting happens in January. I mean, Super Bowl is basically prop betting.
Yeah. Well, so February I noticed was, for Jersey at least, iGaming, more so than online sports betting and retail sports betting.
And when you're talking about iGaming
is the online casinos,
not the online
sports books.
And online poker and things like that. So,
6.2% hold for February. Golden Nugget Online, Tropicana, and Harris all reported negative revenues for the month of February. Casino sports betting revenues, this is casinos only. Resorts Digital led the way with $7.7 million in revenue. Borgata was second with just under $5 million in revenue. Overall, the Meadowlands licenses, which is FanDuel and PointsBet, they brought in over $27 million in revenue. They led everybody in the state.
Well, anyone who's ever gone up to the Meadowlands, that's basically another borough of New York City, because you go up there and it's just all New York people, which is great. I mean, I'm glad they're coming over. I'm glad they're spending their money, but I think that's what New Jersey's worried about when New York goes mobile.
I honestly don't think they're going to see that.
They're going to worry about that, but I don't. There's something fun about going to a sports book, placing a bet there, and watching the game there with a whole bunch of friends. You can't do that mobily, so it's one of those things. I'm very curious to see how, when New York gets mobile sports betting, how that's going to affect the attendance at the Meadowlands.
It's going to be different. I don't think it's going to be as much as what people think, because, again, like you said, it's an experience going to that physical book at the Meadowlands, especially on the football Sunday.
And just speaking for myself, when I go to a retail sports book and watch the games, I'm usually betting on my phone anyway. Yeah, I rarely go to the window and place a bet, because you know what? I'm sitting down, I'm enjoying a beverage, or I'm enjoying food, and why should I get up and go to a window when I can take out my phone and place a bet?
The one thing I'm waiting for are some of these retail books to start offering special promos like the online books do. where you can only get it at the window.
Interesting. Yeah. I probably after everything opens up a little more
Yeah.
and people start getting out to the sports books and things like that, I think you might be able to see that.
Well, moving over to Pennsylvania, they had a February handle of $509.5 million and a revenue of $16.4 million. $13.4 million revenue for online sports betting versus $2.97 million retail. So most of it, again, was online for Pennsylvania. They had 3 times the amount of revenue generated in February of last year. Valley Forge Casino led in both total handle and online revenue for the state.
Wow. Okay.
And the newly launched Live Philadelphia, first month for their numbers. Retail handle of $2.9 million, nothing in terms of online because they don't have an online partner yet.
That should be very interesting because Live Philadelphia is right in the stadium district, and once it's starting to open up, and once the Philadelphia Phillies start bringing in crowds again, and it's right there. So that will be the talk about great tailgating. You just go to the casino and you're tailgating right. I think they share a parking lot with the stadium,
And
so,
they're overlooking some of the stadiums. Some of the rooms
absolutely. So a lot of people are going to go there before the game, place a bet, have a couple beers, then walk over and go see the baseball game. Should be a fun thing.
Going over to Michigan, they announced their online sports betting numbers. They had originally done their retail a week before this. So
Okay.
this is just online sports betting. They brought in almost $302 million in online sports betting, revenue of $9.47 million, taxes of $142,000. Once you adjust the revenue, though, after you get rid of all the promos and the free bets and all that, they had a negative $10.77 million.
Okay.
I mean, that's expected.
Yeah.
Every new market, I mean, if you have a negative revenue, don't be worried about that. You're going to see it go up anyway.
Well, you're spending a lot for advertising,
Yeah.
and you lost the
That's the
promos,
marketing
like you
push.
said. The marketing really is, once they find their market, once they find their audience, they'll be doing fine.
Washington, D.C. released their February numbers. They had a combined retail and online sports betting handle of $15.3 million. They've only got 2 books to report, Gambit D.C. and William Hill. William Hill actually has the retail location of the stadium as well. Gambit had a handle of $4.16 million. That's down $1 million from January. They had $600,000 in revenue. William Hill had a handle of $11.14 million. That's up almost $600,000 from the month before. Revenue of $732,000. I'm going to move ahead here a little bit because we got a lot to talk about down the road here. Oregon brought in $29.6 million. That's a decrease of 15.3% from January. Revenue had a significant decline, 30% down to $2.68 million from the month before. First time for Oregon that table tennis was not in the top sports.
I wonder if table tennis has a season. Is that one of the reasons?
Well, we'll find out.
All I know about table tennis.
Colorado.
All I know about table tennis is I lost money betting on it a couple months ago.
Well, when
But
Colorado
that's,
releases their number, that's the key because Colorado has a huge table tennis population.
Table tennis season there. That's
Top sports: basketball $17.4 million, football $3.4, soccer $2.3, tennis $1.9, and hockey $1.7. Table tennis did register. They had 17,000 bets placed on table tennis in February,
okay.
averaging almost $60 a bet on table tennis for a total of $1 million handle for that sport.
Okay.
Mississippi has reached a milestone. They finally broke the $1 billion mark.
This is the entire time they're in existence. They hit the billion.
Yeah,
For handle?
for a handle.
Okay.
This is all without mobile betting in that state. 31 months it took to reach $1 billion.
It would have been quicker with online, I guess.
Well, they've had plenty of chances. They just can't seem to pass it.
All right. Well,
And they brought in for February $47.8 million in handle, $4.6 million in revenue, and they had almost a 10% hold for the books. We had a bunch of launches and deals to talk about here. Launches, North Carolina, as a matter of fact, I think you brought it up in the Bet Flash. They had 2 retail books open just right before the tip-off of March Madness.
it's a great time to start a sports book, huh?
2 Harris books. Actually, they're both called The Book at whatever the property is. You got Harris Cherokee Casino and also the Harris Cherokee Valley River Casino. Both are the book at because they're Caesar's William Hill books.
Where have I been to the book in New
Bally's.
Jersey? Bally's, okay. I don't know if it's called the book anymore.
It's because
they changed hands.
I think it's William Hill or something.
I don't know.
Golden Nugget got a sports betting license in Virginia, and also they got a temporary permit to start accepting sports wagers. Bally's was issued one for Virginia as well. Let's see. FanDuel and Bally's opened their retail sportsbook in Atlantic City. Speaking of Atlantic City.
You know, we've been to a lot of the openings in the sportsbooks in Atlantic City, but this one was by far the quietest.
Yeah.
You know, usually there's was there a celebrity that cast the first bet there, or was there someone cutting the ribbon? I mean, I haven't heard anything about it.
Well, again, it's different times.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And this was a FanDuel retail book. Speaking of FanDuel, they opened up a retail sports book at what was formerly known as Fairmount Park, as well as opening a retail sports book at Club Hawthorne in Prospect Heights. So they've got 3 books there. Mm-hmm. Penn National got their online sports betting license for Virginia, and Churchill Downs launched their Twin Spires online sports book in Tennessee. Okay. There would have been 6 books in Tennessee, but given what happened with Action 24/7, there are 5 right now.
Are we drifting into the 24/7
little
discussion
by
now? Or
little
no?
by little.
Oh, no, you're going to tease that for later? Okay.
Well, I want to get into some of these other deals because
Okay.
One of the other things that happened was the NFL announced their broadcast deals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was huge.
One of the deals was with Fox Sports. Fox Sports is also part of Fox Bet. And in the press release, and was buried in the press release, I think it was like the 5th bullet point down or something, Fox Bet will receive authorized sportsbook operator status if and when the NFL approves official sportsbook operators for the league.
Well, they certainly do advertise.
First time we've seen that.
Yeah, no, well, they certainly do advertise a lot in the pregame NFL shows. I mean, I saw that a lot during the football season. You know, like I guess one of the contests was win Terry Bradshaw's money or something like that. I think that was all tied in to the Fox Bet app. And
well, you got to remember
it's going to be. I guess it's going to be even bigger now.
You got to remember that's the network.
Sure,
that has nothing to do with the league.
Oh yeah, I know. No,
this is the first time the league has even included something like this in any kind of press release.
Well, like I said, the leagues are really accepting of it. They see the potential of sports betting. You know,
all that kicking and screaming,
fan engagement. I mean, it's a far cry from where it was a couple years ago. I mean, hey, I just had an interview with the VP of gaming at the PGA Tour, so the professional leagues are really starting to, I wouldn't say embracing it, but, you know, understanding the realities of today's sports business.
I think they're
opportunities.
Embracing it now. I think they're embracing it. Well, all that kicking and screaming to go through court to get to this point, now they're all for it.
And you know what? It makes it a fun experience for the fans.
Yeah, I guess so. Bally's became an authorized gaming operator of Major League Baseball. This is their 3rd league that they've partnered with. They will also be incorporating betting options, innovations, whatever you want to call it, into the broadcasts of MLB games on their 19 regional sports networks. Mm-hmm. Speaking of their sports network, their first one is going to be launching soon. Bally Sports Arizona, which is the regional sports network for that region, will be launching at the end of the month, March 31st.
Bally's is acquiring a lot of stuff. I mean, just tons and tons of stuff. They're constantly in the news. I mean, for all you poker fans, I read stories about, it looks like Bally's is the front runner to get the World Poker Tour, to buy the World Poker Tour. So that's
still going on. So
it's amazing what Bally's is doing these last couple of months.
By the time this airs, we may have an answer about that.
Yeah, I hope so.
But the one thing Bally's does not have, they don't have cornhole.
Yes, but DraftKings does.
That's the DraftKings province there. American Cornhole League has designated DraftKings as its official sports betting partner. Besides getting the rights to logos and player images from the Cornhole League, you're going to see free-to-play games. You're going to see odds and lines broadcast during select cornhole tournaments, which are on ESPN, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's been lots of fun watching it. I mean, but does this mean we can bet on it, or are we betting on it soon?
It's only in certain states right now.
Only in certain states. So Okay. I guess it'll help that DraftKings is involved for the approval process.
Well, from what I understand, New Jersey does not allow cornhole betting yet.
Hopefully that changes.
Yes, I know. I got to start betting on cornhole.
Yeah, right. One more thing.
WynnBET partnered with the Richmond Raceway down in Virginia for the WynnBET Lounge. So we're going to start seeing some NASCAR offerings, some enhanced NASCAR offerings from WynnBET for the NASCAR
Perfectly
fans.
honest, I mean, I've seen the commercials here in New Jersey. I'm just not familiar with WynnBET. You know, I haven't seen it. I should take a look at it.
They are the most quiet sports book, I would
Well,
have to
like
say.
I said, I've seen commercials for them in New Jersey.
You're starting to see more.
I'm starting to see more and more, but no, I got to check them out. I mean, you know, it should be Wynn's a great property, so I should really take a look at it.
A couple of things with BetMGM, appointed Jalen Rose as a celebrity ambassador, and also BetMGM's Buffalo Wild Wings deal that we talked about last week.
Yep.
Pennsylvania still hasn't launched it yet because
Okay.
they have some issues with the geotechnology tracking software in that state, so they got to wait till that launches before they can actually incorporate it into the Buffalo Wild Wings restaurants in Pennsylvania.
You know, I go to 2 Buffalo Wild Wings, one in New Jersey and one in Massachusetts, and I'm assuming, given these deals, that it'll be a very different experience in both of those.
Yeah, well, you'll be able
Really,
to be able to see the BetMGM channel the Buffalo Wild Wings is launching, but you won't be able to bet sports bet in Massachusetts.
Oh, so you mean in Massachusetts I'll be able to see the content, I just can't do anything about
You'll
it?
be teased.
I'll be teased. I'll be wishing I'm in the Buffalo Wild Wings in New Jersey, right?
Any of them. Any
Any other
Buffalo
one,
Wild
anywhere
Wings in
but
Jersey.
here.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the big story that happened the first weekend of March Madness. Tennessee Action 24/7. The local Tennessee sportsbook operator had their license suspended. Mm-hmm. The site was shut down. A lot of things, a lot of moving parts to this, and suffice it to say there were allegations of credit card fraud, out-of-state betting via proxy.
Yeah, when you see anything in a news story that says proxy, it means that someone inside the state is getting money from someone outside of a state
Betting
in
on
order
behalf.
in order to bet on their behalf.
Yes.
So that's what proxy means.
And again, credit card fraud, money laundering. As a matter of fact, they had an emergency meeting the same day the story broke. It was on a Friday. In one instance, and this I thought was really interesting, the investigator for the Tennessee Education Lottery, which runs sports betting in the state, received information from someone over at Tennessee Action about suspicious activity going on. The activity happened on the 8th or the 9th, but they reported on the 17th, which was a violation in and of itself. They're supposed to report it within 24 hours. They didn't do that. But the investigator looked at all these different transactions that were going on. One of them stood out immensely. It was a valid deposit, first deposit by one account. And this happened multiple times. One account, valid deposit. Then all of a sudden, once that deposit was set up, that account was set up with real information. Multiple credit cards and debit cards were used to deposit more money that weren't associated with the personal information is in that account. Okay. So basically credit card fraud.
Okay.
And then that was all withdrawn into that one account. So there's where the money laundering came in.
Okay.
They had this multiple times, supposedly, in terms of, I think they had like 48 accounts that did this. Mm-hmm. Thousands of times. You're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Again, they're still looking into this. According to the board of the Tennessee Education Lottery, Tennessee Action 24/7 had nothing in place to prevent this, and they were slow to report it.
Okay.
So they shut down the site. It's an indefinite suspension.
What would they call it? An indefinite
Suspension.
temporary suspension.
It's an indefinite suspension. It's not temporary. They shut them down.
Oh yeah, I know that they shut them down.
Yeah.
But I guess what one report was saying that Tennessee Action 24/7 now has an opportunity to appeal and also cure the problems. And I guess a statement from Tennessee Action said they're looking to solve all the problems to get their license back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and again, they have time to cure it. We'll see when they're able to. I think there's got to be a whole lot of hard look at some of these procedures that they're trying to implement. According to the board, they represented that they had them when they got the license, and they weren't using them.
Well, that's according to the board, right?
That's according to the board.
I guess
according to the board.
Well, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be more hearings on it. I'm sure there's going to be efforts to cure. That's what Tennessee Action 24/7 said. So it should be interesting to see what procedures they put in place or what procedures they have to fix in order to get their license back.
The one thing regardless of Tennessee 24/7, I hope they get their license back.
Absolutely.
But again, in a national sense, the independent books that are launching, like Bet House, and there's a couple in Iowa, there's a couple in Illinois that are going to be launching soon. They're all independent. They're not the national brands. This is a warning shot to them.
Absolutely. Well, they have to look at this, and they have to look at what procedures they have to put in place and what procedures they really have to focus on in order to, effectively adhere to the license and effectively, stop any problems with regard fraud or betting out of state or anything like that.
Also, it brings to the forefront, you got to report this immediately.
Absolutely.
Don't sit on it.
Yeah.
So it just brings into question a lot of things. Again, they have the ability to cure and get their license back up and running and everything else. So
and I guess
we'll see what happens.
Like I said, I think they're appealing, and I think they have a place to cure, and so it's certainly not the end for Action 24/7. I think
hopefully it's not the end.
Yeah, well, I think they have time to cure, and they said they're going to do it to hopefully get their license back.
Well, that's it for the book report this week. Anything we didn't touch, and there was a whole bunch of stuff we did not touch because I wanted to get to the Tennessee Action story. Head on over to Turnpike Sports Radio blog. Go to turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button. And the stories we did talk about and a bunch of other things in terms of legislation, other deals that we didn't hit, as well as other states' February numbers, they'll be up on the blog.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.